My stepmother forged my father's life insurance beneficiary form. 3 weeks before my father died, someone using his email account submitted a beneficiary change form to his life insurance company, removing my sister and me entirely, and naming his wife of 4 years as sole beneficiary of a policy worth just under $500,000, a form he could not, at that point in his illness, have physically opened a laptop to complete. My father, Osric, had carried that life insurance policy since before I was born, a decision he made in his 20s, newly married to my mother, wanting to make sure his family would be provided for no matter what happened to him. He updated the beneficiary designation only once in all those decades, after my mother died when I was 19, splitting the policy evenly between my younger sister Ren and me, a decision he told us about directly at the time, sitting us both down at the kitchen table to explain, in his usual careful, deliberate way, exactly what the policy meant and exactly why he wanted us to have it, rather than leaving it to chance or assumption. He kept a printed copy of that beneficiary confirmation in his fireproof document box for years afterward, alongside his will and the deed to the house, the same box he'd shown both of us more than once, telling us, half joking, half entirely serious, that he wanted us to know exactly where everything was, so we'd never have to go searching in a moment of grief. I remember, specifically, the first Thanksgiving Solveig spent with our family, maybe 8 months into her and our father dating, when she noticed quietly that Ren had been struggling that year with a difficult breakup and spent nearly an hour of the afternoon sitting with her on the back porch, not offering advice exactly, just listening, the way you listen to someone when you genuinely care, rather than when you're performing care for an audience. Ren mentioned that conversation to me afterward, said Solveig had a way of making you feel actually seen, rather than just politely tolerated, and I remember thinking, at the time, that whatever reservations I still carried about our father dating again were probably unfounded given how naturally she seemed to fit into moments like that one. My father met Solveig 6 years after my mother died. At a community garden club, neither of them had expected to find anything more than a shared interest in tomatoes. I was skeptical at first, the way adult children often are when a widowed parent starts dating again, but Solveig won me over gradually, genuinely, over the following year. She was kind to my father in ways that were easy to see even from the outside, patient with his particular habits, generous with Ren and me in a way that never felt performative or transactional. They married 3 years after meeting, a small, warm ceremony in the same garden club where they'd met, and I remember watching my father dance with her at that small reception, genuinely happy for him in a way I hadn't expected to feel that easily. I want to be clear about that, the same way it's mattered in every account like this one. This isn't a story about a woman who was calculating from the very beginning. Whatever came later, I don't believe the 4 years of their marriage that came before it were built entirely on deception. I think, and I've had a long time now to sit with this and try to understand it, that something shifted for Solveig specifically during the final months of my father's illness. Some combination of genuine grief and a specific kind of financial fear that eventually curdled into something none of us could have predicted from the woman who danced with him at that garden club wedding. My father was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer